the title of my presentation is Application of Nano-Engineered Silicon Germanium Heterojunction Bipolar Transistors for Extreme Environment Electronics. I am K.C. Praveen from University of Mysore. The overview of my presentation is like this. First, I would like to give the scientific motivation. I will give the experimental details. I will explain the results, followed by summary. As we know that 21st century communication market consists of wireline, wireless, automotive transportation, satellite, radar and other devices of defense application. The frequency bands are pushing ever higher to increase the speed and efficiency of data transfer. These applications have huge market, but the device requirement is stringent. So the moral is we need high performance device technology at low cost. The suitable candidate for these applications is silicon germanium heterojunction bipolar transistor. This is the first bandgap engineered silicon transistor which have higher current gain, higher early voltage, peak cutoff frequency, maximum oscillation frequency and better noise figure than silicon BJT. CGHBT have better performance and comparable with 3-5 devices with silicon fabrication yield and cost. Several generations of devices are available from 50 GHz to 200 GHz. CGHBT BiCMOS technology combines high-speed CGHBT and best breed of silicon CMOS. CGHBT BiCMOS technology offers an ideal platform for radio frequency monolithic microwave integrated circuits, analog, digital and passives for integrated system on chip or system in package solution. Several companies offer CGICs, example IBM, Jazz, National Electronics, Texas Instruments, ST Microelectronics, Infineon, Hitachi, etc. In order to fabricate silicon germanium HBT, it is crucial to have strained silicon germanium layer. The lattice constant of bulk silicon germanium and silicon is different and there is a 4% lattice mismatch. The relaxed silicon germanium on silicon will have number of defects at the interface. So it is very crucial to have strained silicon germanium epitaxial layer on silicon. By adding germanium into the base of the silicon BJT, we are selectively tailoring the performance of the transistor. This is the SEM picture of the emitter base cross section, emitter base and collector region cross section. When you do it right, there is a seamless integration of silicon germanium into silicon and there is no evidence of deposition of germanium in the base region. When we add germanium into the base region, there is a first type 1 band alignment. This is the energy band diagram of silicon and energy band diagram for strained silicon germanium. Here you can observe that the valence band shift towards conduction band and the conduction band shift towards the valence band. For every 10% of germanium fraction addition to the base region, there is a valence band offset of 75 milli electron volt. When we add germanium into the base region, the basic consequences are smaller base band gap increases electron injection, which increases the current gain, and field from the graded base band gap decreases the base transit time, which increases the cutoff frequency. Base band gap grading produces higher early voltage, which that is higher, it has very higher early voltage. In this physical equation, KT terms are arranged so that there is a good performance at a cryogenic temperature. As I said earlier, there are several generations of devices available from 50 GHz to 200 GHz. Greater performance from generation to generation is achieved by optimizing the germanium doping profile and the structure by reducing the structure of the transistor. Ample opportunities are available for CGHBTs. For example, millimeter wave communication system, radar system, analog functions, and for electronics used in extreme environments. And we are concentrating on the radiation effects on silicon germanium HBTs. What is extreme environment electronics? Electronics which work in different ambient, in different environments, for example, cryogenic temperature, high temperature and radiation environment. The motivation for our work is, in addition to high speed, high gain and low noise with 100% silicon compatibility, CGHBT exhibit excellent cryogenic performance and wide temperature range capability. Therefore, space communities consider using CGICs for space exploration. In space, devices and circuits need to operate from deep cryogenic temperature to moderately high temperature. For example, minus 230 degrees Celsius to 120 degrees Celsius for lunar missions and below minus 230 degrees Celsius for Mars. In addition to extreme temperature, devices and circuits need to be radiation tolerant. For example, tens of kilorad for lunars, hundreds of kilorad for Mars and multi-megarad for Jupiter. The other advantage of using CGHBT is to eliminate warm box for electronics, which improves cost, weight and reliability. Now, an important question arises: are these CGHBTs reliable under such extreme condition? Previous studies with proton and gamma radiation show that CGHBT show multi-megarad total dose radiation tolerance. Hence, CGICs are used for front-end electronics because bipolar technology is preferred for front-end amplification and CMOS for memory and logic. But the main constraint is the devices should be radiation hard and should withstand 100 megahertz total dose. This is the picture of inner detector of Atlas at LHC CERN. Yes, Desai et al. Have reported the radiation levels in different parts of the Atlas detector, according to which the radiation dose accumulated for 5 years of LHC operation in short strips is about 35 megarads and in long strips is about 10 megarads. If we consider the LHC operation for 10 years, the electronics need to be radiation tolerant up to 100 megarad. So the irradiation time required to reach such high hadron fluences with present proton and gamma facilities have correspondingly increased. So we can reduce the irradiation time to more practical values by using energetic heavy ions, by taking the advantage of non-ionizing energy loss, which increases with the atomic number of the impinging ions. Therefore, I have tabulated the LED, energy transfer and range of different radiation in silicon and silicon dioxide. Also, I have tabulated the irradiation time required to reach 100 megarad. For oxygen ion, it is only about 18 minutes. For lithium ions, it is about 40 minutes. For protons, it is about 1 day, 7 hours. And for gamma radiation, it is about 1 week. That is 8 days and 22 hours. We have studied different radiation effects on 50 gigahertz CGHBT and 200 gigahertz CGHBT. Also, we have performed cryogenic temperature irradiation, proton irradiation on both of the devices. For time constraint, I will only show results of 200 gigahertz CGHBT. This plot shows forward mode Gummel characteristics. This is emitter base voltage and this is collector current and this is base current. As the radiation dose increases, we can see the base current at lower VVE increases. We have extracted the base current at 0.65 volt and we have plotted versus total dose for different radiation. We can observe that there is more degradation for oxygen ions when compared to gamma. The base current increases because of the generation recombination trap charges in the emitter base spacer oxide, which can be seen in two-dimensional simulation plot. To study the trap charges in shallow trench isolation oxide, we have swapped emitter and collector terminals by studying Gummel characteristics, and this is inverse mode Gummel characteristics. Again here, as the radiation total dose increases, the base current increases. Again we have extracted the base current at 0.65 volt and plotted against total dose for different radiation. Initially, we have observed more degradation for gamma radiation, and at higher doses there is more degradation for oxygen ion irradiated CGHBT when compared to cobalt 60 gamma irradiated CgSPT. STI oxide consists of purely SiO2 and emitter-based spacer oxide is oxide or nitride composite. Hence, EB spacer oxide is more radiation tolerant to gamma radiation when compared to SiO2. This plot shows current gain versus collector current. Since base current is increasing, current gain decreases. As the radiation total dose is increasing, we can see the decrease in the current gain. We have extracted the peak current gain and we have plotted normalized peak current gain versus total dose for different radiation. We can observe that almost there is same degradation for different radiation, and we have to dwell more upon this lithium ion data. So the summary is CgHBT is the first band gap engineered transistor and it can be used in many applications. We have studied the radiation tolerance up to 100 MHz for oxygen ion and cobalt 60 gamma radiation. The radiation response is different for emitter-based spacer oxide and shallow trench isolation oxide. Important figures of merit are acceptable even after 100 MHz of total dose. CgHBTs are suitable for deep space orbit exploration and high energy physics experiment applications. Technology assessment is fast with heavy ion irradiation when compared to gamma and proton irradiation studies. I would like to acknowledge Professor John D. Chrysler, Georgia Tech, USA, Dr. Ambus Tripathi, Dr. Kanjilal, and Dr. Avasthi from IUC New Delhi, and Professor Govindraj from Pondicherry University, and Professor Revan Siddhaya from our department. I would also acknowledge the funding from Inter-University Accelerator Center, New Delhi, in supporting the project. Thank you.
The paper is now open for discussion.
Yes.
When you studying this radiation effect, what about the conduct? That also come in this.
Sir, we are using the direct IC, sir. ICs, we are irradiating the ICs.
The interconnector and all those things there, which is a different thickness.
We will wire bond the pads to the legs of the dual inline packages and we will irradiate them.
Okay, thank you, Praveen, for the talk on